Hello and welcome to this little video, which is all about how to pass the 11 plus exams using the 3 steps to 11 plus mastery, whilst building confidence and a lifelong love of learning. So very quickly, I just wanted to cover what is the 11 plus, because several parents contact me a little unsure. So just in a really quick nutshell, it is a highly competitive and challenging exam for entry into grammar schools and independent schools here in the UK. There are several different boards that grammar schools use, and you will see GL, CSSE, FSCE, CEM, and ISEB used. GL is the one that is most commonly used for grammar schools, and ISEB is the one that is most commonly used for independent schools. Now, they say that these exams contain just the Key Stage 2 curriculum, which is years 4, 5 and 6, but actually they go on to cover a little bit of year 7 as well. And importantly, the exams for grammar schools are at the beginning of year 6 in September, and the independent schools are usually in December or January, also of year 6. So obviously that leaves a bit of a problem, because children have not covered everything that's in year 6 at the beginning of year 6. And then what is the pass mark? That varies as well. The pass mark is quite high for grammar schools. It can be anything from sort of 75 to 90%. So you are looking at scoring highly, and independent schools vary hugely as well. So that said, who is it for? And it's important to note that in the UK, not every child needs to apply to a grammar school or an independent schools. Okay, there are no exams for state secondaries, which is the most usual route for children leaving primary school. Any child can apply, and that is done through the local education authority website of wherever you live, but very few will pass. And that sounds cruel, but unfortunately, because the schools are so good, they are hugely selective, and they will only take the very top children. So I'm afraid that leaves a lot of children who work very hard but do not quite make the grade. However, as I believe, even the effort of trying is hugely beneficial to their education. So really, if you want to attempt the 11 plus, your child needs to be at or above the expected level in primary school at the moment, needs to be bright and able, okay? You also, as parents, need to be willing to put in a lot of time and effort, because it does take extra work. You cannot rely on the national curriculum that is taught at school. And your child needs to be fairly resilient and develop a really good positive growth mindset. We do help them with that, and a desire to better themselves. And obviously, if you're a parent that's watching this, then you probably do value education, and you can see the lifelong benefits that an excellent education can give your child. So if you are still here and you want to give your child the very best opportunities in life, to open those doors for them so that they can truly reach their absolute potential and not be dragged along with everyone else in the slow lane, then stick around, because this is what you will learn. Okay, I'm going to show you the 3 steps to 11 plus success, which I have developed through teaching children to pass their exams, actually. I'm going to be talking about mindset and confidence, which is absolutely crucial to success, and then the foundations of their education, and how we improve knowledge gaps and develop core skills so that we can build the 11 plus curriculum on that. And then importantly, we have to accelerate and apply their learning and their knowledge and all the strategies and techniques that they've learned to 11 plus exams with confidence and speed. Okay, so let's make a quick agreement. I'm going to promise to show you in this training how to help your child succeed in the 11 plus, and then I will show you exactly how we at Confident Learners can prepare your child for 11 plus success whilst growing their confidence and developing that lifelong love of learning without any of the stress that usually comes with 11 plus preparation. But if that is not for you, then that's absolutely fine. But I would love it if you could take action on what I share and either tell a friend, or even better, implement the strategies that I'm about to teach you at home with your own children. Okay? So your child may be feeling a little bit like this at the moment at the mention of 11 plus. You might not be seeing the progress that you want them to, what you want them to at school as they work towards it. you might be feeling very frustrated because you don't have the time or the knowledge or the patience to help. And you might just be feeling that it's impossible to get them to complete their schoolwork, let alone enjoy it. And the idea of sort of learning at home takes you back to those hideous lockdown days. You may even have tried getting a tutor, but it didn't make a difference. So here you are wondering what the next steps are. So first of all, why might these problems exist? It's useful to know why. So the first problem exists because we cannot, unfortunately, rely on the school teacher. Much as I've been a school teacher, classroom teacher myself for over 20 years, I have huge respect for them. They're doing a brilliant, brilliant job. However, they are not preparing children for 11 plus because, as I explained, the 11 plus curriculum goes way above and beyond the national curriculum for year 5 and 6. And the exams are at the beginning of year 6. So they haven't even covered what they're about to cover in year 6. And your class teacher, as lovely as they are not, well, they have between 25 and 35 other children in the class as well as your child. So they're not able to focus their support and their energy on your child, who probably needs stretching and challenging. Okay. So you've decided that you're going to do it alone, and you're working at home, and you're trying to get it. You're trying to help them yourselves. Now, as I've explained, that is a problem because you might feel like you're one of the only people in your child's class or in your friendship group who is actually preparing for the 11 plus exams. So you don't feel supported. You don't feel like you're in a team. Your child doesn't feel like they are doing what everybody else is doing, and they're probably saying to you, I don't want to do this, mummy. I want to go to the local school where all my friends are going. So you're probably up against that as well. And it's important to notice that children who work together as a team do a lot better than those who work alone. And it's the same in life, isn't it? If there's team sports, team spirit, teamwork makes the dream work. If you're climbing a mountain like Mount Everest, you wouldn't dream of doing it alone. You would choose a really strong, good leader who's done it before, and you would choose other people who are going on the same journey as you. So it makes sense to be part of a team rather than trying to struggle along and do it by yourself. And I love this picture on the right, but I know a few children who felt like that as they start their 11 plus journeys because they're trying to learn at home. And I'm surrounded by 11 plus workbooks here. They are fantastic support. They are brilliant and you will need them. However, you also need good teaching. Okay, children cannot learn from just reading a book and completing a workbook. Okay, so they do need support, and they need professional experience support in teaching them the strategies, the skills, the concepts, the knowledge that they need to be able to pass these exams. So a little bit about me before I go into our 3 steps to 11 plus mastery. So my name's Marion, and I have been qualified since 2000. So that feels like a jolly long time ago, but it means that I've so far had 23 years of educational experience. Most of that, in fact, all of that has been in some of the top UK independent prep schools. So by very nature of their name, we are preparing children for their entrance exams into competitive senior schools. Okay, and most recently I was head of a London prep school, which prepared about 50 children a year for the independent and grammar schools around London and the surrounding areas. So over the years, I've helped thousands of children develop their confidence and achieve their full potential, and I've helped hundreds of children get into the schools of their choice. Here are just a small snapshot of a few parents who have worked with us, and you will see, you may have seen some other testimonials around as well, but there's a common theme which is about confidence. It's why we're called confident learners. I firmly believe that building children's confidence and self-belief is at the very root of their success. Okay, and if you enjoy something, you will, if you feel confident in something, you will enjoy it. So let's crack on with these 3 steps to 11 plus mastery, which I hope you will help you as well in your preparation at home. So the 3 steps to mastery are based on sort of trifecta that I've built here, which is strategy, environment, and habits. Okay, now we've talked a little bit about what the 3 steps are, but they build into this trifecta. And without all 3 of these, the right environment, the winning environment, without firm, strong habits, and without a really good, directed, supported strategy, there will not be success at the end. So I think these 3 things are the key to success. So you might want to grab a pen and paper at this stage, because this is when I'm going to share with you some of the things that I've learned that work for 11 plus success along the way. So this first one, mindset and confidence. Let's go into that in a little bit more detail. So most children will lack confidence at some point on their 11 plus preparation. You might hear your child saying something like, I'm rubbish at maths, or this is really hard, or I can't do it, or I don't want to do it, I hate all this extra study. Okay, so, and as a result, they lose focus and give up. And then it's very hard to get that working mindset back again. It becomes overwhelming, and they continue to believe that they won't pass, they stop doing the work, and then they won't succeed. And just like that, it's gone. So like a kind of vicious circle, if you think you're rubbish and you don't want to try, then you don't get better, like me and baking cakes, which I'll tell you about. So what they really need is a solid growth mindset. Now, you may have heard of a lady called Carol Dweck, who's an American psychologist who has coined this phrase, growth mindset. Do Google her. She's got some very good work on how to improve growth mindset. But we use that as a tool through all our lessons. Okay, so it happens through discussion and communication with children, from the teacher to the child. And we help you as parents to initiate that and support that at home as well. So when you have a positive mindset, you can start to build confidence. Now, positive mindset is things like, this might be tricky, but I'm going to give it a go. Or, I didn't do so well that time, but how can I do better next time? Or, I'm finding this really difficult now, but let me ask the teacher and I'll understand it better next time. The power of yet as well is important. So my analogy of the cake, which I share with the children, is that if I'm a bit rubbish at baking, I say I'm a bit rubbish at baking, I can't bake cakes. I tell the children this and they will say to me, well, why don't you just practice? I say, well, because I don't want to, because I'm rubbish. So what's the point in doing cake making at the weekend if I'm so rubbish at it? And they say, yeah, but all you need to do is like read the instructions a bit better, the recipe a bit better. And maybe, if it had a soggy bottom, maybe you just need to turn the temperature up a little bit in the oven. Okay, I'll try. So I have a go, and then I go back to them and say, look, my cake's still soggy, but it's not as burnt on the top. So that's good. I've made progress. So what should I do next? And they keep telling me. And so you get the picture. They keep reiterating that you have to go away and improve one thing and that you can do it. And they keep encouraging me. And by the end of it, I can cook a cake and they're all delighted. So it really helps to have that positive growth mindset in everything you learn. The second of these is the firm foundations. And this is very important. Particularly if you're starting in year 5, it's really important that those foundations are strong and really, really solid. And that's across maths and English and actually some reasoning as well. So we suggest that you go back over old ground. You cover what has been taught in year 3 and year 4 if you're starting in year 5. If you're starting in year 4, then you're ahead of the game because you've got a bit more time on your side, but you still need to make sure those year 2 and year 3 foundations are absolutely secure. Okay. Now, schools do have a curriculum to follow, which means they have to do things in a restrictive order and at a certain speed, and they don't have a lot of time for going back over topics that your child may have missed for lockdowns, COVID, that may have missed for illness, or just simply staring out of the window on the day that equivalent fractions were taught. Okay, so we need to put these pieces of the jigsaw together and make sure that none of them are missing. All right, that's really important. So yeah, that's, if you're starting it at home, definitely make sure that the reading, the times tables, the mental mathematics, and you are all solid, and that you have introduced your child to verbal and non-verbal reasoning at an age appropriate level. Now, how we use this in 11 plus preparation is that once these foundations are built, we know that we can build build on them with the 11 plus curriculum knowledge, which, as I've explained, goes above and beyond the national curriculum. So we need to take them right up to the end of year 6 before they've finished year 5. And that way the test papers aren't daunting and they're not full of new ideas that they haven't learned before and are therefore completely inaccessible. And again, going back to confidence, it really helps with the confidence. Now, if you look at the analogy of a house, then the year 2, 3 and 4, or year 2 and 3 and year 4 really actually are the foundations. That's where everything else in your education will build from. All right, you cannot put the doors and the windows and the roof on until those foundations are strong. And then the third and final step of our 3 steps to mastery is accelerate and apply. Simply, unless you're at a prep school that is specifically preparing children for 11 plus exams, the teachers cannot teach the 11 plus curriculum. They have to teach the national curriculum, and so they won't teach the necessary concepts and skills in time for the 11 plus entrance exams. It all needs to be done before the end of year 5. They will often teach an 11 plus idea or touch on a subject such as adding fractions, but they won't go into it in enough depth or detail to be able to confidently and accurately answer 11 plus questions. And that's where it's really important. Information without implementation leads to frustration. So what that means is that you can be taught how to do something, okay? And at school, often you are taught how to do things at school, but then you need to practice and consolidate that knowledge and apply it to exam questions. That's the implementation, putting it into practice. If you don't put it into practice, then you forget how to do things. You're unable to do things because it doesn't make sense and you can't sort of work out how this information, this concept that you were taught relates to this question. So you may have been taught about ratio, for example, and you know how it works, but you don't know how to answer the question about the number of pots of paint that Jimmy needs to paint his bedroom. Okay, you need to really be able to apply those to real life word problem situations. And lastly, applying it includes assessment. Okay, and this is sort of constant check-ins, a bit like that last one I just said there about getting on the scales when you're trying to lose weight. You just constantly assess, you constantly benchmark, you're constantly aiming to progress. And so you need constant performance indicators. Now, you can do that with workbooks. They tend to have sort of little tests and assessments in there. But what a teacher will do is 2 different types of assessment. We have formative and summative assessment. Now, when a good teacher is teaching a class, they will be constantly assessing a child throughout that lesson. Okay, they will be monitoring, they will be asking appropriate questions for your child's ability level and ask specific questions to your child for what they need to practice. And they will be constantly reviewing their homeworks and things as you hand them back. Okay, but it's also important to then set assessments for 2 reasons. A, it gives us really good feedback on exactly what they've remembered over the last few lessons, but it also serves as practice for the exam, which is further down the line. Okay, this helps to build confidence with the experience, and it continues to identify any weaknesses. If we do come across weaknesses, we can fill them before it's too late. Okay, now this chap here jumping into his freezing cold ice bath, apparently, not that I've tried it, once you try ice swimming, it does get easier. And it's exactly the same with 11 plus assessments. The more you do of them, the easier it gets. Okay, it is a challenge. It is uncomfortable. It puts you out of your comfort zone, but it does get easier with practice. So there are my 3 steps to mastery. So let's have a quick recap. So we have mindset and confidence, the cake. We have to improve the children's mindset. We have to give them their growth mindset that they may not have at the moment. So we have to work on their mindset and confidence. We have to give them these tools to improve their mindset and their confidence. And this can be done at home as parents as well. And we do it consistently through our lessons. But it's like the keystone of your child's success is that mindset. Okay. Then we have to make sure that the foundations are absolutely rock solid. We need to make sure that there are no pieces of that jigsaw missing from earlier education, from COVID or from other learning gaps. And then finally, once all of that is in place, we can accelerate and apply. Now, these don't happen in 3 set stages. We don't spend a whole term teaching mindset and confidence and then go on to the foundations and then finally accelerate and apply. We do these all together in the lessons. So every lesson will include mindset and confidence building, firm foundations, making sure that we've gone over what we've previously done before, and accelerate and applying. So making sure that we're going faster, teaching them ahead and beyond their school curriculum and helping them to apply it to 11 plus questions. So a little bit more about the 11 plus mastery course. I've talked quite a lot about it already, but on the 11 plus mastery course, we take your year 4 or year 5 child on the whole 11 plus journey. Okay, so whether you start in year 4 or year 5, we teach you everything that you need to know to be able to pass the 11 plus. That includes maths, English, verbal reasoning, and non-verbal reasoning. Okay, exactly which exams are in that your child has to take will vary depending on where you're applying to, but the content will remain the same for all of them. So every child is supported, cared for, nurtured every step of the way, and we ensure that they follow each of those 3 steps: the mindset, the confidence, the firm foundations, and accelerate and apply. We do this through teaching 2 lessons a week, 1 maths, 1 English, with verbal and non-verbal intertwined into those. But I can tell you more about that if you'd like to book a quick chat with me. This is just a little note from a parent that I received quite recently from a child who just finished the year 4 mastery course, and they are going on to do the year 5 one. Okay, so we've got some very happy clients, and what's important to me is that we have some very happy children. The children really enjoy their lessons, and they come to the lessons with a smile. They're keen to do their homework, and they're generally positive about the whole experience, which is how it should be. It should not be a chore and a stress. So you have got to the end of my little chat about 11 plus mastery. So if you remember, we made an agreement and you are going to take some action. So we can have a serious chat about how your child can start getting the guidance and help that they need to master their 11 plus exams. We could build out a roadmap for your child specifically so that you know what to focus on. And if it makes sense, we can talk about what it would be like to work together at the end of that chat. Okay, so finally, I'll just leave you with this thought. So ultimately, in life, there are always 2 choices. It says 3, sorry about that. And in 11 plus preparation, you can either go it alone through guesswork, trial and error, and a little bit of sort of naivety, or you can take a proven framework, the one that you know will get results, that you know will improve your child's knowledge, skills, and confidence. Okay, so there are those 2 choices, the guesswork or the professional support. It's really, that's what it boils down to. So if you would like to book in a chat with me personally to see how we can help your child prepare for their 11 plus exams, whether they're in year 4 or year 5, I will share with you all of my experience and help you to decide what the best course of action is for you and your child. And I really look forward to speaking with you soon.